You can build a Mercedes-AMG C63 for $3,000, but nobody warned you that most of that money never touches a performance part. Spend it wrong on the wrong car, and you don't get a build. You get a $4,000 engine repair with a nice set of wheels bolted on top. The single scariest sound in this whole video is a ticking noise at cold start, and I'll tell you exactly what it costs you near the end. Let's set the rules first. This is a W204 C63, the 2008 to 2015 car with the 6.2-liter naturally aspirated M156 V8. Clean examples run 15 to 25 grand right now, and the aftermarket is enormous. $3,000 is not a small budget, but this platform will eat it in deferred maintenance before you ever bolt on a single go-fast part. So we're not building a race car. We're building a foundation. Looks right, sits right, stops right, breathes a little better, and doesn't strand you in 6 months. Here's the part everyone skips. Before a single performance dollar, the car has to pass a health check. Fresh oil to Mercedes spec 229.5. Spark plugs done within 30,000 miles. Transmission fluid on the 7G Tronic within 40,000. Diff fluid not burnt, coolant not brown, brake fluid not black. If the car fails these, that's where your money goes. A car needing $2 grand in neglected maintenance is not a $3,000 build. It's a $1,000 build wearing a costume. Now the sound I promised. The M156 has a documented failure mode, rocker arm follower wear, especially on 2008 to 2011 cars. People call it the lifter tick. You'll hear a metallic ticking at cold start that fades as it warms up. That is not a quirk. That is $1,500 to $4,000 walking out the door. If you hear it on a car you're buying, walk away unless you have a separate engine budget. This entire build assumes a mechanically sound car with no drivetrain issues. That's the number nobody warns you about, and it's the whole reason budget C63 builds go sideways. So how does $3 grand break down? $300 to maintenance, $1,100 to wheels and tires, the biggest visual and dynamic upgrade you can buy, $550 to suspension, $400 to brakes, $200 for an intake, $150 for cosmetics, $200 for alignment and labor, $100 for contingency. Notice what gets almost nothing? Power. That's intentional. At this budget, power adders are a trap, and I'll prove it in a minute. Maintenance first, $300. The M156 uses 16 spark plugs, 2 per cylinder. NGK BKR6 E-Cup, about 80 to 120 for the full set. The rear bank needs partial intake removal, so DIY if you can, because shop labor here is brutal. Add a .4 brake fluid flush with AT or Pentosan, 30 to 50 in fluid, and fresh 75W90 in the rear diff, 40 to 60 in redline or model. Boring? Yes, but this is the difference between a build and a breakdown. Wheels and tires, $1,100, and this is where the money screams. The stock C63 runs 18s with a tall, sleepy sidewall. Move to a staggered 19-inch setup, front 19 by 8.5 in ET35 to 38, rear 19 by 9.5 or 10 in ET25 to 35. The W204 is 5 by 112 with a 66.6 center bore, same as most modern Mercedes, so the used market is massive. OEM AMG wheels turn up for $400 to $700. Rotiform, Vossen CV3s, even BBS CHRs in 19s show up used between $500 and $1 grand if you're patient. Budget $500 to $700 for a clean set. For tires, the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S is the community favorite at $180 to $220 a corner. Tight on budget? The Continental Extreme Contact Sport 02 is $140 to $170 with brilliant wet grip. And the value pick, the Falcon Asinus FK510 at $110 to $140, punches way above its price. Now the caveat that will save your fenders: the W204 has tight front clearance, more than 20 millimeters of front poke rubs at full lock. If your used set has an aggressive offset, verify fitment before you buy. Threepiece.us has genuinely strong fitment expertise on the Mercedes 5x112 platform, so use them to confirm a set actually clears before you spend a dime, and bookmark them for a forged 3-piece upgrade down the road. Suspension, $550. Real coilovers from BC Racing or Fortune Auto start at $800 to $1,200, and that blows the budget. So skip them. Buy lowering springs. H&R Sport. Springs are the W204 gold standard, 300 to 380, dropping the car 1.1 to 1.3 inches, which fills the wells perfectly without wrecking your steering clearance. Want a softer daily? Eibach Pro Kit. 0.8 to an inch, 280 to 350. Both work with the factory Bilstein shocks, as long as those shocks aren't leaking and have under 80,000 miles. Here's the mistake that ruins builds. Those $300 no-name eBay coilovers. The C63 community universally reports them as garbage, sloppy damping, random spring rates, early failure. On a 3,700-pound car making 451 horsepower, that's not a savings, that's a liability. If you can't afford BC Racing or better, buy H&R springs and keep the stock Bilsteins. Full stop. Brakes, 400, and this is the most tangible performance gain in the whole build. EBC Yellowstuff pads front and rear run 160 to 220 for all four corners with way better bite than OEM. And they're street legal. Prefer less dust? Hawk horsepowers. 5.0. For rotors, Brembo OE replacements are 200 to 300 for all four, and Brembo supplies Mercedes anyway, so it's factory quality for less than dealer money. Want more? DBAT2 slotted for a bit extra. Whatever you do, don't put O'Reilly house brand pads on a car this heavy and this fast. They glaze, they fade, and they'll scare you. Intake, 200. The AFE Power Stage 2. Cold air intake is the go-to bolt-on for the M156, about 180 to 220. Real gains are modest, 10 to 15 horsepower on paper, maybe 8 to 12 in the real world. But the throttle response sharpens, and the induction sound is spectacular. Tighter budget? InGen SP Short Ram at 140 to 170, though it pulls warmer air. And now the trap. Do not tune the M156. An ECU tune on a naturally aspirated engine with no cams, headers, or exhaust does almost nothing and costs $400 to $800. Save it. That's a W205 twin-turbo move, not a W204 move. Cosmetics, 150, all high impact and cheap. A roll of 3M 1080 gloss black vinyl, 30 to 50 bucks, blacks out the grille stars and trunk emblem in 30 minutes and instantly modernizes the car. Add smoked tail film for 50 to 80, fully reversible, community endorsed. Leftover cash? A single-stage machine polish with Magyar's M205 wakes up neglected paint dramatically. And do these last, always last, after everything mechanical is sorted? Order matters. Maintenance first so you know the car's healthy. Brakes second, bedded in at stock height. Suspension third. Then, and this is non-negotiable, a four-wheel alignment. Do not drive more than 50 miles on new springs without it, or you'll shred a set of tires in 5,000 miles. Target roughly -1 to 1.5 degrees front camber, -1.5 to 2 rear. Then mount the wheels, check for rub at full lock, install the intake, and finish with cosmetics. So who is this build for? The buyer who wants a sorted, mean-looking C63 that stops with real confidence and sounds glorious for $3,000 all in. Who is it not for? Anyone chasing horsepower. This build adds maybe 10. Your 451 stays 451, and the W205 twin-turbo cars will still pull away. It's also firmer on broken pavement, so if comfort is king, run the iBox instead of the H&Rs. But get the maintenance baseline right, and this adds zero reliability risk. Before you buy any used wheel set, run the offset by threepiece.us so it clears without rubbing. And when you're ready for Phase 2 forged three-piece, that's where you start. If this saved you from buying a ticking C63, hit subscribe. Your engine will thank you.